Welcome everybody to Healthy Cooking with Chris. I'm still admitting a few people here at the last minute, so I'd like to give it just a couple more minutes. It is 2:02, so we could wait till like 2:04. That would be great. If you are unable to hear me, then please feel free to send me a chat in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And if you can't hear me chat, I mean, basically is what I should say. We are so happy you all are joining us today. This is a really great class that I think you're going to like. I'm super excited about it. We are recording this session, so if you would be so kind as to leave your cameras off, unless you're having an exceptionally great hair day, then feel free. But it just uses up some bandwidth, and we are looking at a big crowd of about 46 people so far. There we go. All righty. So, welcome to Healthy Cooking with Chris. You are in the correct spot. You should see a big screen that says welcome to Healthy Cooking with Chris and has a recording microphone on it. I am going to start this recording now, but I wanted you to know that we actually are recording this session. We do put them out. Yes, we do put the videos out on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook site. So I'll talk about that in just a minute, but you will definitely be able to see these afterwards. So if you didn't get the recipe or you missed something, then you will definitely have a chance to get to that. All righty. If you have your microphone on, please feel free to keep it muted. We will make use of the chat box for this session today because we have a lot of people. And if everybody has their microphone on, all you'll hear is noise and you won't actually hear what Chris is going to teach you today. All right, I have muted everybody for the moment. Welcome to Healthy Cooking with Chris. It is now 2:05, so I think it's time we get started. If you're having trouble hearing me, exit out, come on back in, and push the blue button that says use computer audio. That's the one you want to use. All right, you are in the Healthy Cooking with Chris today. We're super glad you're here. This session will be recorded, so please leave your cameras off. It just makes life a lot easier bandwidth-wise, and we have a pretty big crowd today already, and usually people join us at the last minute. So if you cannot see the controls and you don't know what to do, you can wiggle your mouse either at the top or the bottom of your screen and you'll see a box called chat. That is the easiest way to get a hold of us. Send me a message in there. We monitor the chat room as the session goes on. In fact, you guys are being so helpful to other people right now. I didn't even have a chance to answer the questions. So I'm very happy about your helpfulness. Thank you. If we have any issues, please feel free to reply to that email that I sent you. My name is Amy Nichols. And my email address is amynichols@areaagency.org. I monitor that while we are going along. And if we are Zoom bombed, which knock on wood has not happened yet, but does happen once in a while, this session will end immediately. And if you don't know what a Zoom bomb is, consider yourself very lucky. It's when hackers take over your session and do some very nasty things to it. We don't want anything to do with that. So we will end that right away and we will pick it up again at another day. But knock on wood, we are very, very protective of our Zoom links, so that doesn't happen to us. All right, like I said, welcome to Healthy Cooking with Chris. My name is Amy Nichols. I am the campus coordinator for the Campus for Creative Aging, which is a division of Region 4 Area Agency on Aging. So the campus is located in St. Joseph, Michigan, and I know that we have a ton of people on here today from Michigan, but we also have some international folks. So it is, this is what we do in Michigan when we want to show you where we live. This is St. Joe right here. Only state in the nation that can do that. We're super excited. And joining me today is our chef extraordinaire, although she hates it when I call her that. She's a master's degree in dietetics, she has a bachelor's degree in dietetics, a master's in curriculum and instruction, and a whole bunch of other things that I cannot even add to you. She is fabulous. Her name is Chris Flood. She is also the health education supervisor of the Community Health Equity and Inclusion Department of Bronson Wellness Center, and she partners with us. So we are very happy to have her here. I am going to unmute her, or try really hard. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as I would like. Yep, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Something about iPhones and Zoom, you cannot unmute yourself. I don't understand. So I'm going to let her say hi.
I got it.
Got it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Chris, and let you take it away.
Okay. Can you hear me okay, Amy?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so welcome everybody. And I am here in Southwest Michigan too, although I am a little bit higher than Amy because I am in South Haven and she's in St. Joe, a little bit further down. So today we're here to talk about cabbage. So I think cabbage gets a bum rap or a bad rap a lot of the times because I think it's one of the easiest to prepare, most delicious, and healthiest vegetables that you could possibly make a meal or a side dish out of. So that's why I called this session Cabbage is King. I wanted to lift it up a little bit today. So that's what we're gonna do. So if you're new to these cooking sessions, usually what we do is we talk a little bit about nutrition as we're going through the recipe. We do some cooking, and then Amy and I go back and forth with some chats and some jokes and some other things. So today, what we're gonna start with is our recipe. And if you did not get the recipe, Amy can email that to you. I can't see the chats. I'm doing this on an iPhone and it's too small. But if you did not get the recipe ahead of time and you want to email Amy right in the chat box, your email address, she will send it to you. Because today what we're making is stir-fry cabbage with apples and chicken sausage. So again, I like people to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. If you've been here before, you'll see that just about everything I create, each serving ends up with about 2 cups of fruits and vegetables. Last time we did a zucchini dish, 2 cups of fruits and vegetables. Today, 2 cups of fruits and vegetables, a little bit more, and you'll see what we're gonna do. So let's get started. So first thing I wanted to talk about is, and I'll be reaching in and out of the camera, but so what I'm using today is a chicken sausage, and this is the company. And I bought this at our local Meijer. And what I really like about this, it's fully cooked, so I don't have to worry about any of it being raw. I also like the packaging because it allows you to just take out one little sausage at a time and it doesn't bust open the entire package. Because a lot of times if you're living alone as a 1 or as a 2 even, we don't need to eat 4 sausages. Although my husband begs to differ on that. He believes it's a 2 sausage serving. It's really a 1 sausage per person serving. So that's what we're using. And we are using the chicken and apple sausage. And what you can do is use any kind of sausage. If you have other kielbasa that's fully cooked, or maybe you've got smoky links, or maybe you've got some other homemade sausage, you can use that. But for this recipe, we're gonna start with fully cooked sausage. So what I did ahead of time was I already sliced it, so because we move fast in this class, and I will show you how to slice cabbage in a minute, but this I already sliced, and I sliced it into just little kind of half moons. And so what I'm gonna do, if you have the recipe in front of you, is I'm gonna get started with step 2, actually, so we can talk about how to cut this cabbage. So step 2 in our recipe is basically to spray our pan with some nonstick spray and to just get a little brown on this sausage. That's all I want to do for the first step. It's going to take a couple minutes. We're going to have time to cut this cabbage. So again, my chicken sausage is going into my skillet behind me. And later today, I'm going to try something really tricky. I'm going to try to move my camera. It could be a total fail. We'll see. Amy and I haven't done this before. Not removing it yet, though. So Amy, do you have a question you can ask people while I get the sausage going?
Awesome. So here's the first thing we have. We love to make use of something called a poll. And if you're newer to Zoom and you haven't seen these, this is what it's going to look like. And it's a question that's going to pop up on your screen. And you're going to get to pick the answer. And then you're going to hit submit on your vote. So here's our first question. Our first question is, this heavy lifter actually gets milder and sweeter tasting after the first frost. Which vegetable are we talking about? We talking about potatoes? We talking about cabbage? We talking about summer squash? Or are we talking about tomatoes? Let's see. Oh, all right. We've got about 35 of our 50 people that have voted so far. So we're going to give it just another second. And this one is interesting because I don't know that I actually knew this, to tell you the truth, Chris. All of our years of cooking and doing root vegetables and all kinds of vegetables together, I did not know this one. So we are at 42 of 50. So thinking the rest of you guys just didn't feel like voting. So I'm going to let it go and we're going to hit end polling. And here's the results. Most of you guessed cabbage, 74%, which was the correct answer. Summer squash was second, tomatoes and potatoes. So yay.
Very good. Smart group, right? It's true. Cabbage does get sweeter as it goes further along into the season. So cabbages are coming out now, right? I got this beautiful little guy in my CSA farmer's box this week, and it's a red, or some people call it purple cabbage, kind of an odd shape, but perfect size for 2 people. And I got this one at the grocery store when I was trying to buy the smallest cabbage there was, and this was the smallest cabbage there was. So most people, especially if you're a 1 or 2 in your household, and a lot of us are, we're not going to buy 2 heads of cabbage at the same time, right? Because it might take us a while to use it. So today for our recipe, we're going to just use the green shredded cabbage, but I want to show people how to get the core out if they're interested, or if they've never bought a cabbage before. So we're going to do it with our little purple guy. So basically what you want to do is rinse off your cabbage first. I already have. You want to peel off any like loose outer leaves and get rid of those, which I've done right there. And then what you want to do when you're cutting is to get a flat surface. Now, on a big round green cabbage, I can put this guy on its bottom with the core at the bottom, not quite yet very easily, but this guy, I definitely can't do that, right? So I'm going to saw some of that core off first. So I'm going to saw a little bit of this guy off like that. I've still got the core there. I took off this end, and then I'm going to stick it, I try to get a flat surface here. There we go. Now he stands up. And what I'm going to try to do is to just go right down the middle and end up with quarters. So I've got halves, right? I find my flat surface again. And then I go through the middle, 1, through the middle, 2. So now I've got 4 equal quarters of this beautiful purple cabbage. So what you want to do next, and it can be kind of tricky if you cut a lot of the core out, which we had to do on this cabbage because the end was so long, is we want to get rid of as much as we can of this core with just 1 chop of the knife. So we'll basically just give it 1 chop like that. I still got a little bit of it in there. Give it 1 more chop. And now as I'm shredding it, I'll be able to take the rest of it out as I chop. If this was a really big, this is a small head of cabbage. So I could chop it this way, across. I could even chop it long way because my knife is long enough, but I couldn't do that with the big cabbage. So one way to do this is to just start kind of at an angle, get some of it into shred, and then shift your cabbage and do the other side, and so on. And as we see the pieces of the core come through, which they are right there, we can just kick them out after it's all chopped. So there we go. And so I look through it and I say, okay, look, there's still some core. I'm going to get rid of that. But it's pretty easy to get the core out. And something else to know is the core is edible. So if you eat any of it, it's not going to hurt you either. So that's
the snack while you're prepping food, Chris.
What's that?
That's the snack while you're prepping food, right?
Right, exactly. So I have some, so this is some beautiful purple cabbage, which we're actually not going to use in today's recipe, but I wanted to show that. So I'll be using that in some coleslaw probably tomorrow. So next, what I wanted to do is check on my sausage, because remember I said I just wanted to get a little bit brown. So I'm going to give it a quick check. Amy, do you have another question?
Of course I do. All right. So let's go to our next question. And I feel like there might be some ringers in this crowd, Chris, that will know the answer, that have been on our cooking shows before or are your friends. So this one is, this versatile veggie that is the guest chef's favorite, meaning Chris, often gets a bad rap, but it is a good source of vitamin A and vitamin C, especially if you eat the skin. So is it summer squash, eggplant, onions, or potatoes? So what is Chris's favorite vegetable? Summer squash, eggplant, onions, or potato? All righty, we're almost at the voting. I'm gonna give it another 2 seconds and then, all right, here we go. So here's the results. 48% of you are correct. It is potato. That is Chris's favorite. Although I do think you like all of these.
I do.
Is why I put
Oh
them
no,
on.
I don't like eggplant.
You don't like eggplant. Okay.
I tried, but I don't. All right, so you guys, what I did, so I've got a little bit of brown, as you can see, on these little sausage coins. And so I'm going to transfer that to a plate, and then I'm going to start sauteing my onions and my spices. So I'm going to hang in there just one quick minute, and we'll flip that back on. Okay, flip that back on. So now all we've got to do is cut one onion, and we're going to add some spices to our pan. So I have a small onion. It's funny, last class somebody said to me, do you call that a small onion? This is so small for us. We use a lot of onions in our family. So this truly is a small onion. I would probably normally put a bigger onion just because we love onion, but doesn't matter, use what you have. So I'm just gonna quickly, I'm gonna leave the slices a little bit bigger because I like them in this dish a little bigger than diced. So I like to have sort of some nice slices. So I've got my onion coming in, and then I'm gonna heat up the oil, and I'm going to put the spices in the pan to bring out the flavor of them. And I've got just caraway seed today and a little bit of red pepper flake. If you do not like red pepper flake, if you do not like spicy food, you do not need to use that. So I've got that. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan, just a little bit, only a teaspoon.
What kind of oil is that, Chris?
Today it's canola oil, just using straight canola oil, not using olive oil because this is gonna be in the pan for a while. And I didn't wanna worry about it getting too hot and sort of changing the chemical structure. So I'm using canola oil, which heats to a high temperature, doesn't smoke, works really well. So I've got that in there. So if you're following along in the recipe, I changed things up a little bit. We did step 2 first, then we did step 1, now we're in order. So in the same skillet, I'm on step 3. We're heating the oil, and we're gonna add our herbs and spices, which are dried, to bring out the flavor. So I have caraway seed and red pepper flakes. If you do not have caraway seed, don't sweat it. Don't go out and spend $3 or $4 to buy it. But if you have caraway seed and it's a couple of years old, even though spices are only supposed to last 6 months, we know we all keep them longer than that, right? You can bring out the flavor a little bit by heating it for a minute in the oil. So we're gonna add both of these to our oil. Then we're gonna let that sort of stir fry that for only 1 minute, then we're gonna put the onion in. Then we're gonna move on. So Amy, have you got another question for the group?
We are full of questions today. All right, so question number 3 is entitled Ruby. So most people don't think about roasting these small ruby red gems, but that's a mistake. They roast beautifully. Are they tomatoes, apples, grapes, or radishes? Now, for those of you that have followed Chris on her blog, it's called Empty Nest Eats. You just Google it. It's emptyNestEats.com, I do believe. Have seen the answer to this. And I was very surprised, almost to the point of like, I need to go try that, but I haven't yet. So, all right, we're almost done with our voting. Give it 2 more seconds. Is it tomatoes, apples, grapes, or radishes? All right, I think we're there. And the answer is indeed radishes. 78% of the people got it right. Although, yes, you can roast tomatoes. Yes, you can roast apples. And yes, you can roast grapes. Not as good as those radishes would be, right?
So actually, I think all of those things are really good roasted. I love to roast tomatoes, especially if they're starting to pucker and they're sitting around. Throw them on a cookie sheet with some oil and put them in your oven at 400. It makes them really sweet and kind of jammy. Apples, yes. Grapes, absolutely. That's pretty popular right now, and I've seen a lot of recipes for that. But radishes, yes. A lot of people don't really like radishes, or they say, they're too spicy, I don't like them raw. But if you cut them up just as if you would cut up another vegetable you're gonna roast to maybe the size of maybe a dice, or die, I think that's called. You can roast them with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper and make a beautiful side dish and eat it on toast or just eat it plain. It's really delicious. So thank you, Amy. Great. All right, so I got my onion going, it's brown. So I want to remind you about the spices, only let them go a minute. Things like caraway seed, they can burn. The red pepper flake will be fine, but the caraway seed could burn, so I only gave it 1 minute. I threw in my oven. We're gonna hop back there once I get the cabbage browning in a minute. So now I'm ready to add my cabbage. So I cut my cabbage in shreds because I want this to cook fast. If you want it to cook up, that's my smoke alarm. All right, Amy, turn me off for a minute. I gotta get my smoke alarm.
Okay, now I would like to have a little chat box. How many times have you actually set off the smoke alarm in your house while cooking dinner? It is almost a daily event at my house because some fool put a smoke alarm in the middle of my kitchen. So the minute you get it the least bit warm, it sets it off. And I have one of those Nest ones, and it says, warning, warning, smoke detected. So it talks to you, and then it turns on the smoke alarm. So it totally upsets my dogs, my cats, and everything. But all right, Chris, you're probably going to have to unmute yourself because I have everybody on mute all when you want to come back on over. But apparently, everybody is agreeing with me that daily a smoke alarm goes off at their house.
It's still going, but it will stop. So we'll give it a minute. We have a whole house fan that sucks it up, and nothing is burning, but it's just extremely sensitive. So hang on.
No worries. Okay, that is just
And I have the air conditioning on and my windows shut. So I think we're good. We'll wait a couple more minutes. Then I'm gonna open the window, then we're gonna keep going. So what I did back there is I threw the cabbage in now. So I'm at the step 4. Add the chopped cabbage to the skillet, cook over medium heat until the cabbage browns about 10 minutes. I was talking about the shred side. I made these small so they would cook faster. You could also make them bigger, whatever kind of chunks that you like is fine. But I didn't shred mine tiny like you would for coleslaw, but they're still pretty thin. So we're gonna cook those 5 to 10 minutes, get a little bit of brown on them, then we're gonna add our other ingredients, and we're gonna let that simmer a few minutes. So, Amy, one more question, and then I've got something else I wanna discuss.
Awesome. All right, we are going to go on to question number 4, versatile veggie. So many chefs believe that along with carrots and celery, these irreplaceable veggies are the perfect base for soups and stews and sauces. So if you know a little bit about French cooking, this will help you. Is it green peppers, onions, zucchini, or tomatoes? Green peppers, onions, zucchini, or tomatoes. And I just would like to say thank you all for your patience because you never know what's going to happen on a live broadcast. And, you know, it is what it is, right? Okay, so we are about 3/4 of the way through voting at this point. Carrots and celery, and what's the third one? Green peppers, onions, zucchini, or tomatoes? I feel like I should go do, do, do sometimes during these. All right, Here we go. I'm going to end this polling. And we are going to share these results. And it is indeed onions. We were talking about that very versatile onion, carrot, and celery, the mirepoix. That's the French name for it. So good job, you guys. Very smart crowd today, Chris.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Okay.
First.
I don't see myself yet.
Oh. That
I
is
see the
very
poll still.
The poll's still there?
It is for me, but let me see if I don't usually have to manually close it, but I can try.
You know why? Because I made you co-host. Let me just take that off and then you'll be okay. You should be able to see yourself now.
That's all right. Don't worry. Okay. All right. So let's hope nothing. The smoke alarm doesn't go off again, but it probably will, knowing this week. All right. So we got our cabbage going. As it cooks, some water comes out of it. That's natural. We're going to brown it a little bit. Then we're going to move on to adding some diced apple. We're going to make a little sauce for it, and we're going to let that all simmer together after adding our sausage. So I'm going to let that go a couple more minutes, and I want to talk about really fruits and vegetables for just a minute, because a lot of us struggle with getting the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables. It's a minimum of 3.5 cups a day. So thinking about how you can add more fruits and vegetables to every meal, having a fruit and vegetable for breakfast, a fruit and vegetable for lunch, and 2 at dinner is a really great way to get to that minimum and even to bump it up even higher than 3.5 cups. So like I said at the beginning, I always try to do recipes where each serving is about 2 cups, and that's what we're doing today. So as you're shopping and planning your menus and meals for the week, think about, I'm eating breakfast, how can I get a fruit or vegetable? I'm eating lunch, how can I get a fruit or vegetable? I'm eating dinner, do I just have a little bit of red pepper on a pizza, or do I have a pizza and a side salad? So really think about bumping up those fruits and vegetables. It's the best way to get really the adequate nutrition that you need to continue to be healthy. So I just want to make that plug for our fruits and vegetables. I'm going to check our cabbage, which is sauteing, and then I'm going to make our sauce that's going to go in. I'm going to cut an apple. Amy, I think this is a good time for our guest appearance. Do you remember what that is?
Oh, yes. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here for a minute, and hold on a minute. Let's just go. Let me just zip on through a couple of these here before. All right. There we go. Okay. So here's Mr. Butter. We're not always just about food. Chris even names her animals after food, which kind of cracked me up. Mr. Butter is a rescue she found in her yard. And as you can see, he is stinking adorable. And he is a 7-month-old kitten, and he's looking for a new home. Mr. Butter likes to visit with everyone, which is why he has to be locked away when we do these broadcasts, because we don't want him to be jumping in the middle of it and visiting. We have enough issues already, so we didn't need that kind of help. But if you are looking for a sweet, adorable, playful kitten, he will be fixed and up to date on his shots. He has a bed, he has toys, and he has his own water fountain. So she will happily donate all of that. You just reply to the email, the Amy Nichols, and at Area Agency, and we will probably even deliver him if he's local. Right, Chris?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right.
All right, cool, thanks. Yes, we found that cat in the woods about 3 weeks ago, and he's getting on okay with our dog, but we just weren't in a place where we wanted to get another pet. And so if anybody needs a cat, he's beautiful. You can see his picture. He jumps like right into your lap. My husband picks him up and slings him over your shoulder. He's really adorable. So email if you are interested in having a new cat friend. Okay, so cabbage is starting to brown. I'm going to cut my apple and then make my sauce. One thing I noticed in this recipe, and this is my fault, I forgot to add the step where we put the sausage back in. So when I add, I don't see it on there, but I don't see it on there. So And number 5, I'm sorry about this, I'll send out a revision, add the diced apple and cover. That's when we'd add our sausage back in to get it good and hot. So you could, that's what we're planning on doing. So I've got a Michigan apple here. I was looking for a tart apple to do this, and I couldn't find any tart apples. Tart apples in Michigan are Cortland, Empire, Paula Red, Ida Red, Granny Smith. I had those, but I wanted red since I have so much green cabbage. So this is a Fuji apple, but I prefer in this recipe a more tart apple. But if you have any kind of apple laying around, it will be great for this recipe. Type in the chat box if you've ever combined cabbage and apples before. Is that something you regularly do or not? I'd like to know.
Hey, we did have a question, Chris.
Yeah.
So, you know, have you roasted cabbage slices before or cabbage wedges?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have, same way, a little bit of olive oil, a little salt and pepper. I've done it, not the wedges. I've done the slices, so I've gotten a big, wide slice, basically. But I mean, about a 1/2 inch thick, maybe a 1/4 of an inch thick. And then you can use a brush to brush on the oil. So it's basically the size of a pancake. But what I like about doing it that way is there's a huge area for browning. So you have a lot of area that becomes caramelized and brown. I have not done wedges, but I see that done all the time.
And I would, great. Right. And I would do that at like 375, 400, maybe even 425 if I was in a hurry and they were thin. And I would put a little Parmesan cheese on when they come out, because I would brush it with olive oil and garlic. And I have a thing about garlic, and just a tiny bit of Parmesan cheese will add some calories, but I don't put salt or anything on it then. So it kind of makes up for the salt and then pepper. So I hope that.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I put Parmesan cheese on everything. People get tired of hearing me say it, honestly, because I put so much Parmesan cheese on things. So yes, that will work. In 375 or 400, I agree with you, Amy. Any kind of herbs that you like, really, or spices, like you might like oregano to give it an Italian flavor, or you might like tarragon to make it taste more French. So any kind of dried herbs, salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic is great. So thanks for that question. And what do people say about the cabbage and apples?
Not as much about the apples, but they do like smoked turkey and potatoes. So I feel like everybody agrees this is going to be delicious, though, but not as much experience with it.
Cool. So. Well, I was going to move my camera, but I'm not going to try today. I'm going to move the dish up to you. So
even better.
I got kind of nervous after the smoke alarm. So I've got some browning on my cabbage. And that is, now it's going to be the time to add the apples in, and then the sausage and the sauce. So it's already pretty wilty and tender. I would eat it right like that. So all we really need to do is get these apples to wilt. So we're going to put the apples in. We're going to make our sauce. We're going to throw the sauce and sausage in. And we're going to put a lid on, let it get hot, and we're going to be done. So
okay, so this is a one-pan meal. I am super excited.
Yeah, most of these are one-pan meals, Amy. Absolutely. I really need 2 cameras is what I need, or somebody else. So I'm gonna put all my apples in. I said I was gonna put the sausage in now, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait till I put the sauce in because it is fully cooked. So I'm gonna put my apples in. There's enough liquid in there to steam this. I know you can't see that very well, but I'm going to put a lid on and put this at medium heat, and these apples are going to get tender and steam while we're whisking together our sauce. Then we're going to throw everything together.
Awesome. All right, while she's doing that, I do have one more poll.
Go right ahead.
Though it's tempting to pass by this somewhat unattractive veggie in the produce section, don't. This humble veggie is a good source of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and vitamin C. Is it the ugly sweet potato, the ugly shallot, the ugly turnip, the ugly rutabaga, or the ugly garlic? So here's the answers. Now you get to vote. Sorry, I forgot to launch the poll there for a second. Sweet potato, shallot, turnip, rutabaga, or garlic? Okie doke. Sweet potato, well, rutabaga is in the lead. Turnips bringing up, turnip and sweet potato are almost tied. Ooh, sweet potato pulled out a little. Okay, going to give you about 5 more seconds to get those answers in. Here we go. All right, rutabaga wins at 50%. And you know what? That is the correct answer. Am I saying that right, Chris? Rutabaga?
People say it differently. I've heard people say it a couple of other ways as well. I think you're right. So, yeah. So, all right, very good. Yes, it is rutabaga, and try them if you've never had them before. They work great as a half and half with mashed potatoes, a little less carbs, a little extra nutrition, something to kind of spice up the dish. They have kind of a spicy, almost radishy, cabbagey flavor a little bit. So something to try. So
I love them. I eat them raw. They're so good.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, I don't, but that sounds good. So we covered a lot of Michigan root vegetables. All of them are good for you. So next time you're at your farmer's market or grocery store, look for those fall veggies that are now becoming less expensive and are often on sale. So let's make our sauce and toss it in. So all we have to make this simple sauce for this one pot cabbage and sausage meal is a few ingredients. We have vinegar, honey, chicken broth, and mustard. We'll talk about things you could add to that in just a minute. But basically what I'm going to do is put these 4 things together, and we'll talk about how you can kind of change it up. I'm a huge vinegar fan, and my husband is not so much. So in your recipe, it says 1 tablespoon, 1 to 2 tablespoons. I like 2 tablespoons, but that might be way too much vinegar for some people. So you can see that I'm not measuring exactly, but we're gonna put about 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in there. I buy the natural apple cider vinegar. You can see that it's cloudy, and it has that good stuff on the bottom, which is called the mother, which is good bacteria for your gut. So we've got some apple cider vinegar. We've got some low sodium chicken broth, or you could use vegetable broth. You could use water. If you wanted to, you could use beer. You could use wine. It's only 2 tablespoons of liquid. You can improvise there. So I've got my chicken broth. I have my first ingredient, which was my vinegar. And now I'm going to put mustard. So I'm putting Dijon mustard because I love the spiciness of Dijon mustard. But you could use country style mustard. You could use the whole grain mustard. You could use regular French's yellow mustard. So we're going to put in about 1 tablespoon of that too. And I saw a question, Amy, but I couldn't see exactly what it said.
Well, the question is interesting because they wanted to know, should it be the stir fry, because you browned that cabbage and then put the lid on, it's going to steam it a little bit. Does it soften it too much?
No, because that's why it depends on, that's a great question. It depends on how big you cut your cabbage and how big you cut your apples. So, and how you like your vegetables. Some people love their vegetables soft. Some people like their vegetables crisp. I like my vegetables crisp. My husband does not like them crisp, so we meet somewhere in the middle. So I am trying to steam it to cook the apples. That's why I put the lid on. So I'm trying to cook it just a little bit quicker and get them all tender. But really, this recipe, for some people, could be made in 15 minutes if they want to keep everything crisp. So that's an excellent question. So I've got the mustard. I'm just going to add some honey to this. If you don't want to use sugar, you don't have to add it, but I think it gives it a really nice sweetness. You could add 1 to 2 tablespoons. So we're going to add about 1 tablespoon to that today. And then I'm just going to whisk it together. And if you like things really saucy, double the sauce. But the nutrient breakdown for this recipe is based on the recipe that you have for the sauce. I put 1 tablespoon of honey. You could put 2 tablespoons to make it sweeter. I just wanted to change it up a little bit today. So I've got that ready. I'm going to check on my apples. I'll bring it over here to the front so you can see. I'm going to put my sausage back in, and we'll see how this is going. Oh, wait a minute.
Chris, we also had a comment that rutabagas are really good in soups and
Oh,
casseroles.
yes,
Yeah.
agree, they are. Oh, I hope my smoke alarm doesn't go again. So my apples are getting, they're almost, I can feel that there's crisp tender, and so is the cabbage. So all I want to do now is to basically add my sausage back, add my sauce, put the lid on, and give it a few minutes to heat up.
Again, I make this comment in every class, like, why don't I come over and eat with you? Because this looks really good.
It is a really great combination. So I've got that, the lid's going back on. We're giving it a good stir here. And just give it a couple minutes to let everything kind of go together. You can see that the apples poke really easy. They're tender but not mushy. So,
Chris, I think we just lost your video, my friend. Are you plugged in? Well, this will be a good time for me to share the screen though while she figures out what's happening over there. And I'm going to cheat a little bit on our game. And we're going to play a little game while Chris gets hooked back up. And it's called 2 Truths and a Lie About Fall Vegetables. All right. So you guys know how to play 2 Truths and a Lie? 2 of these things are true. 1 of them is not. And you are going to have to put it in the chat box for me so that I can see your answer. But I'm going to kind of whip through this while she gets organized. So 1 cup of shredded raw cabbage contains 190% of the recommended daily amount of vitamin C. Is that the truth? Cabbage is one of the oldest vegetables in existence and continues to be a dietary staple throughout the world. Is that true? Or C, China consumes the most cabbage per capita in the world. Is that true? So 2 of these are true. 1 of them is not. And, ooh, I see someone says C, someone says B. And actually the answer is C. The one that's a lie is China. The one that consumes the most cabbage per capita in the world is actually Russia. So we'll move on to another one. Are you all set there, Chris? Feeling better?
Can you see me?
I can see you now. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. That was very weird. All right. I will hold off on this part for just a minute and let you go back.
I don't know what happened. I was plugged in, but who knows? I saw something said, oh, I see I'm looking at people's answers. I can barely see that. So thanks for that, Amy. Yeah, sometimes the power, I don't know what happened there. So I in the back, I'll bring it forward in a minute. I've got my lid on. I'm just letting that all get hot together. We're right at the last step. So then I would say, what else are we going to have for dinner? So remember, 3.5 cups of fruits and vegetables. That's our goal. So today, I'm going to eat this on the side of just a really nice green salad with a little bit of tomato from our garden. So in 1 minute, I'm going to plate that up. I want to talk for a minute about other things you could add to this because you can add other vegetables, right? You could add, I've got some really nice peppers from my CSA box this week. You could add shallots. You could add garlic. You could add some chopped up kale. Chopped shredded carrot. So any other vegetables you could add up, just think about 4 cups of chopped vegetables. So say you've only got 2 cups of cabbage. Maybe you've got 2 cups of carrots that you want to make this with. So that step where you're adding the cabbage should be about 4 cups of vegetables. So let me get my serving dish where we're going to put this on, and we'll see what this looks like.
Awesome. In the meantime, I've got one more poll. You know that I have always got something up my sleeve, right? And this one is going to be interesting. So we are going to launch it right now, and it's called Tough Skin Veggies. If you're having trouble cutting one of these vitamin A packed veggies, pop it in the microwave whole for a minute or 2 and then cut it open. This, Chris, is one of those things that I did not know about. So I was super excited that you gave me the right answer because I wasn't sure I could get the right answer. Is it winter squash? Is it turnip? Is it rutabaga or is it cabbage? So winter squash, turnip, rutabaga, or cabbage, which one do you microwave for a minute or 2 in order to be able to cut it open? We're gonna get it just second. And now we will end the polling here. And our polling says winter squash. They are a very smart group.
Yeah.
All that. So, okay.
They are a smart group, definitely.
All right.
All right. Awesome. I don't see myself anymore, which is weird today, but do you see me okay, Amy? Because I'll just keep talking.
Yep, I see you fine.
Okay. All right. So I'm ready to plate up. And what I've got is just a side salad. So remember I said 3.5 cups of fruits and vegetables? There's another 2 cups right there. And I'm going to get my cabbage dish, my shredded cabbage, and I'm going to plate it up and show you how much it is. So let me grab it. And we will get the tongs. And see, where are my tongs?
I hate it when things are laid out and ready for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You find it that way.
Cool. So here we go. Sausage, cabbage, onions, apples, and what I always like to show people, this is really important to me because in my house, we like to eat a large amount of food. I'm not going to lie. So when you look at this and say, oh my gosh, that is a ridiculous amount of food for 2 people, it's basically vegetables, right? If you look at the calorie count on this dish, it's not very high. I mean, 1/2 of this entire pan that I have is only 350 calories, right? Why is that? It's because most of it is fruits and vegetables, right? So you can have a giant pile of fruits and vegetables for low calories and get an incredible amount of nutrition out of it. So remember, if you can eke in 2 cups of vegetables per person for dinner or fruits, that's a really great way to keep healthy. So that would be our dinner tonight. That will be our dinner tonight. What I'll do is I'll put some extra mustard on it. I love mustard. And I'll put maybe a little bit of hot sauce or something on it. So that's our dish for today. Yes, leftovers, I can see that. So that's our dish for today. I hope you guys are inspired to go out and use some cabbage. And I'd like to be able to chat in if they think they would make this.
Yeah, so just give us a little message in the chat if you think you would make this. I know I will. I will definitely use the spicy mustard and probably double that red pepper flake because my family likes it hot. My husband does anyway. So, and honestly, I think I could have fed 3 of us off of that. So that is just fabulous. And everybody says yes, yes, yes. So just so you know, she will revise that to put the sausage back in, and we'll send you the recipe. But I wanted to let you guys know also that we have a new class coming up on September 9th at 4 o'clock, and it's called Health and Happiness Hour. Now, we want you to grab your favorite beverage and join Chris and Isabel, our other guest chef, and myself, and we will just talk about recipes and things, but we always have a little mission on each week. And the first mission we're going to talk about is nutrients and aging, what kind of nutrients you need as you age, because as you can not tell, Chris is like an expert on some of that stuff. So she knows off the top of her head how much protein we should have and how ways to get more fruits and vegetables in your diet. And it will be fun. You can grab whatever kind of beverage you like. We do not judge. We probably will just have something more along the lines of iced tea, but it will be more of a sit and a chat kind of thing. And so we are limiting that class to 20 people. We had 8 people signed up already as of the airing of this class. So get on it if you would like. When I sent your recipe out, there's a link to the Eventbrite in there as well. So we would love to see you. We'd love to chat with you. And it will also be turning it into a Facebook group so that we can kind of keep up with tips on you and some things in between. So we're going to try to run that both ways. So we are super happy you were here. Chris, do you have any?
Amy, I wanted to just add to that. Also, if participants on this Zoom have any ideas for health and happiness topics beyond nutrition, could be mental health, could be physical activity, could be anything related to your health, send an email to Amy because we have access to many speakers at Bronson, and Amy has connections with Bronson as well as other health systems. So we're just sort of trying to expand what that might be or look like for you.
Awesome. And if you, I will have all your emails addresses. So I will send another blast with that recipe updated and the link again to sign up for that class. So we are so happy you joined us. Thank you for being here. And I will make sure you all get the recipe.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.